y'all? It's your boy Termanology. Right now I'm holding it down with my peoples. Breaking Records Radio. Let's go, y'all.
Hey, yo, it's your boy Monster Man Rocco.
It's your boy Swagger Rock.
This is Snack the Ripper.
You rap for those who don't know.
This is Master Ace. You are now rocking with the best. Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records, man.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records.
Breaking Records Radio. Let's go.
Breaking Records Radio.
Breaking Records Radio. Breaking Records, man. Radio is like the place to be. I don't know. Fuck strange music, man.
Check it out one time for your mind, Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. It's your host, Maloney, and I got a very special guest on the phone with me right now. This is a man I've been a fan, huge fan of since I first heard Watch How It Go Down. So we're talking, we're talking close to 15 years I've been following you, man, and you just consistently grinded. But we got Termanology on the phone with us, man.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
How you been doing, man? How you been in the midst of all this coronavirus shit?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Everybody's freaking out, but I'm good, man. I'm all right. Family's good. Everybody's staying healthy, keeping the immune system healthy, That's all we can really do.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Just glad to hear you're healthy. Everyone around you's healthy, and that's all we can do, exactly like you said. You just put out the brand new album, which, I can't believe how quick you guys were at the draw of this shit, but you guys got the Quarantine album out now. I love the whole project front to back. It's super, super fire, man.
Appreciate that, man. That means a lot, for real.
Yeah, man. You guys really did your work on that. And, one thing I found interesting was on the joint, Know What Time It Is, you start your verse, you write verses and release the album the same day. So I was curious, how quick was the creation process for this album? Because, it did not take long for you guys to get it made and put it out there.
Right. Well, we made it in one day. It was, Statik and I, we've been doing this for a long time where we link up with a certain artist and make an album in one day. So me and Statik did it, and Statik did it with Saigon. He also did it with Bun B. Did it with Freddie Gibbs, with Freeway. So we've been doing this for about 10 years. And I had went up for his show to do Shade 45, and he said because of the COVID-19 that the show was canceled. And then the next day we had a show with DMX that also got canceled. So I was like, hey, man, we're sitting around doing nothing. Let's make the best of it. What do you want to do? And he was like, yo, let's just make an album in one day. And I was like, yeah. I was like, sounds good to me, So he said, yo, just pick 10 beats, and then tomorrow, we can lay it down. So I said, cool. So I picked the 10 beats. We put it live on YouTube, and there it is, man. It took us 11 hours to record it. You can watch the whole process on YouTube, all the artists that came through, and there it is, man.
Oh, wow, man. That's cool. I didn't realize you guys actually did the live stream of it, too. So that's up on, the Show Off YouTube page?
I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's on Show Off Live on YouTube. You can watch the entire creation.
Okay, dope. That's a cool idea, man, and that's the beautiful thing about the internet, all the different ways you can use to utilize it nowadays and stuff, and that's super cool. I'll be checking that out after. I wish I realized you guys had the process up beforehand. And so I wanted to ask, too, I'm sure the video obviously says it all, but did you guys have all the artists come through that day and do all the collaborations as well, too? Or were some of them, stuff you were already sitting on and that kind of shit?
No, everything was done that day. You can see the artists come through. The only artist that sent in his verse because he couldn't make it was Marlon Craft. All the other rappers actually pulled up. You could watch them in the booth. Little Fame from MOP, Grass, Tech from Smith & Wesson, Coda the Friend, Nem, DJ Fly, Highlight Supreme sang on it. So yeah, everybody who's on the album, they were actually there at the creation. We did it all together.
That's crazy, man. And just the overall product, it's absolutely, I was listening to it today and I'm like, yo, this is it's been a minute since I've heard a project that front to back I like that much. So just to know that you guys made it just on the fly like that, that's fucking incredible, man.
Thank you, man. It was, it's a challenging thing for a rapper, because with Statik he already had the beats done. He made them ahead of time. But with the rapper, you got to write your stuff on the spot. and then I wanted to make the lyrics relevant to what's going on. So as you can see right off the bat, you know, with the pandemic, the first song we're talking about what's going on in the moment, and you know, all the way through the album, you hear different references to what's going on and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a challenge to write 10 whole songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In an 11-hour period, but it was cool, man. You know, I was up for the task, and I had some dope artists around me that was able to bring, you know, the greatness out of me and out of Statik. So it was cool, man.
That's really dope, man. And I'm actually curious as well, too, because you mentioned the joint Pandemic, which starts off the album. The video's really dope, too. I really like that joint altogether. But a lot of the joint is kind of just like talking about, like, you know, like basically the powers that be, the string puppets of, or the puppet. Sorry, I got something in my throat. Got that COVID coming, shit.
Hey, man, drink some water real quick, man. Yeah.
But yeah, what I was getting at though is it kind of like, you know, talks about like the puppet masters of, you know, the shadow government and kind of the world that we're living in and stuff, and, you know, really being able to see that kind of shit. But you know, it does talk about the pandemic and stuff too. So I was just kind of curious what your thoughts on the whole COVID-19 thing is. Like, do you think there's more that we should be paying attention to, or like?
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, all you can really do is stay safe. You know, they're gonna tell you what they're gonna tell you. You can believe what you want. You can believe what you see on mainstream media. You can believe what you dig up on your own conspiracy theories. You can go on YouTube. You know, wherever you get your information from is on you. I'm not knocking you. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, independent, if you are atheist or believe in God, or you know, like Trump or you don't like Trump. Whatever you choose is on you, man. All I really know is it is real. You know, they're definitely pushing fear on us to get, you know, to use that to their advantage, but it is real. So since it is real, all we can really do is just be safe, man, and keep our family safe and stay healthy, and you know, protect our family to the best that we can do, and thug it out until this is all over.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you know, and one thing I think is very important too is, you know, the way you kind of laid it down in the song. Because I sit the same way. I'm like, I don't know exactly what's going on, but, you know, powerful people have lied to us time and time again in the past and used fear to push us to push the agendas they want for the population. So it's like, I don't know where I sit on this, you know, I need to know more, but it's like people, you know, I just hope enough people out there are informed and, you know, aren't just so quick to be swept up by the okie doke, you know, really just be able to look at things subjectively and kind of really form their own opinions on it from all the different sources that they have to pull information from.
All day, man. And, you know, it's crazy because people are like, they listen to songs like The Pandemic and the other songs, and they're like, wow, this is crazy. Look what he's talking about. It's like, bro, I was talking about the same stuff and watch how it go down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's, now it's like, now we got Instagram, and now there's all this shit. There's different ways that, you know, that people can get information. So it's kind of crazy that people are like woke about stuff now, but man, really, I've always been on this wave, you know. I always been kind of like, you know, hey, there's a little something more than just the obvious, and open your eyes, and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool though to see a lot of people like, you know, opening their eyes and not just believing anything they hear like a sheep.
Yeah, no, it's important, man, and even going back to that too, you know, because I first probably came in contact with your music. It was Watch How It Go Down. I'm just trying to think the year I caught it. It probably like 2007 maybe. I know it had been out for a little bit. But that song just...
Well, the song came out in 2006.
Yeah.
But then the album didn't come out till 2008. You know, we were in a different time where you had to like heat it up. So yeah, so it was kind of 06 and on.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and that song, as soon as I first heard it, man, you know, just connected with me. Like, I love the way that you paid homage to all the, you know, the MCs before you who inspired you, but you twisted the lyrics and you did exactly what you're talking about. Everything had a very conscious feel to it, like, but it was the first time I really heard an MC, like, you know, breaking down the conscious shit, but like with that rapid fire pun flow, like it just blew my mind, that whole joint. You know what I mean? To this day, it's still in my top 50 best hip hop songs of all time, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, man, definitely, man. You know, the whole experience is crazy, man, and it took me to another level. But I mean, Watch Out Go Down definitely changed my life and made it and made a career for me. So I'm blessed to have that.
It just, yeah, man, and the way, like, you know, the multis you have on that and the message you're still delivering at the same time, it's like, you know, it's far and few between MCs that are able to pull that off, man. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, this guy's gonna be a fucking problem. And you've just done nothing but tear shit up ever since I heard that joint, man. You've consistently been working.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. It's really a blessing, man, to have a career that's so cool like this. You know what I mean? That I can just come up with things out of my brain and get paid, like, ideas that are out of my brain. And just, you know, now I'm on my 40th project now. It's like I've done, 25, 30 albums and 10, 15 mixtapes and EPs, and it's just like I live in the studio. I was in the studio every day this week, even with the COVID thing. I just been over there by myself, cooking up beats with the homies, and just it's just like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm gonna make hip hop music until the day I die. So it's something I love, and I'm gonna continue to keep doing it.
Yeah, man. And like, just curious too, like with the whole Watch How It Go Down joint. Because that was the first joint you and Preem did together, right?
Yeah, that was like what opened the door to our relationship, and then after that, then we did So Amazing, then we did How We Rock with Bun B, then we did My Boston with Big Shug, then we did the Play It remix with Royce and Shug, then we came back with Play Dirty with Busta Rhymes and Styles, and then we did on Turn Brady, we did the Posse Cut. Get Off the Ground remix,
yeah.
And then he did Anti-Hero for me for the album with Flame, man. So I've been blessed, bro. I got 10 songs with DJ Premier, and my favorite rappers don't even have 10 songs with DJ Premier. So I'm super blessed, man. And Primo's done a lot for me, man. He's like a big bro to me and Statik. So I'm so thankful for him. But yeah, man, just him giving me that shot on Watch How It Go Down. He gave me the shot. He gave me a chance. He's like, yo, let's see what you can do on this. I knocked it out the park, and then that opened the door for a 10-year, 15-year relationship, working relationship after that.
Yeah, it's amazing, man, and everything you guys ever put together too, all phenomenal. Like all those joints you just named. I love the Play It remix. The So Amazing, the Anti-Hero shit. That was one of the nastiest Preem beats I heard in a few years. Like he always laces you, and you always know what to do with it. I was just kind of curious, like, how did the whole connection with you and Preem, like, originally formulate?
Well, Crumb Snatcher was part of like Gangstar Foundation. Basically, he was down with Premier. He was signed to Guru. So I was working under Crumb. He signed me when I was young.
Oh, okay.
And so I was around Crumb. So I'm in the owners, the album, the owners. I'm in one of the videos, Same Team No Game. I'm in the video. So I went to New York with Crumb, because Crumb is also from my hood. So he brought me to to spit for Guru. I spit for Guru and Premier, and they took a liking to me. So that was my initial introduction to them. But I didn't really get to build a relationship with Preem until Statik built a relationship with Preem, and then he was able to I guess, like, bring me around Premier enough times that me and Preem started, having our own relationship, and Statik really helped me get the beat. You know what I mean? He was chilling with Preem. Preem was playing him some beats, and he said, "What do you think about giving this beat to Term?" And then he said, "Oh, you think Term will want this?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I know Term will want this." So they called me on the phone. They played me the beat. They asked me if I wanted it. I said, "Hell yeah, I want it." And it was history ever from there.
That's crazy, man. I had no idea you're in the Same Team No Games video too. I'll have to look out for you next time I watch that. That's crazy.
Yeah, you'll see me real quick. I got like a half a second, but it was my first time on TV too. It was funny. The video was on BT, so me and all my boys used to just sit on the block just watching the video, like, yo, let's.
Yo, that's crazy, man. And you said that you kind of came up under Crumb Snatcher too, so I was kind of curious your relationship with him, because he was on your first official album, the Out the Gate, on the Welcome to the Hood joint. So like, did he kind of help you like putting that album together before you and Statik really started working heavy together?
No, he didn't. But what he did was he was in the game, you know, and I wasn't in the game. So he was somebody I looked up to. Like, hey, look, man, you know, you got a couple gold plaques on your wall here from you know, Gangstar and Training Day soundtrack, and you have relationships with Pete Rock and Primo and Alchemist and these people. So, and I didn't, you know, so he was somebody I could look to that had experience from around my hood, and he had a relationship. So I was just kind of asking him, like, yo, can you help me get this producer, that feature? Can you help, you know, help me, like, put me on some shows, whatever it was at the time that I needed.
Yeah.
I used to ask him to do, and he basically would kind of let me run around with him, you know, to different studio sessions, and he would come to my sessions. So he was kind of like a big brother to me, you know what I mean? And then once I like re-clicked up with Statik, me and Crumb, like, business-wise, went separate ways, and then I started really working with Statik more, and Crumb started doing his own thing. So yeah, we still like family, we still like brothers, but you know, with the music thing, man, it was like he just kind of was like a mentor to me for a couple of years early on in my career.
Yeah. Nah, it's dope, man. You know, it's important to have people like that around too, who can kind of help you, you know, learn the game a little bit too. Like coming from Boston as well too. Like well, Lawrence, but you know, the Boston area. Like did you ever, like, did Ed OG really ever help out early in your career at all? Like, I know he's mentored some artists from around that way and stuff.
Right. I mean, you know, I would do shows with Ed and stuff like that, but that was kind of the extent of it. You know, we're from about 30 minutes apart, you know, so I'm closer to where Crumb's from, I'm closer to where Rex is from, you know, those are kind of like the people that's from my area, whereas, like, you know, I guess the people that really mentored me was, like, Schizophrenics was a group from around my way.
Yeah.
They mentored, they helped me, put me on a lot of shows. There was another group called the Massholes. They helped a lot. You know, it was just I was just working my way up, you know, and all the guys were real supportive, and they liked my talent, and they kind of helped me on those early years. There was really no hate, yo. Everybody was just mad cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just interviewed Rex a couple weeks ago too, so he was, you know, he kind of told us about, like, early on when you guys first met each other, and then, you know, just kind of the relationship you guys built from there forward too. Like, it's amazing the amount of talent you guys got out of where you're from, man, and just, you know, and one thing I always found interesting, too, is how, like, you know, there's such a heavy DJ Premier connection with a lot of Boston artists, but the more I talk to you guys, it's like all your guys' connections with Primo is so separate from one another, you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of crazy when you really learn all the ins and outs of it all.
Yeah, definitely, man, we're blessed, man. You know, Crumb had a great relationship with Premier early on, them dropping the song Closer to God in 1996.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of opened the doors for a lot of us as far as him just recognizing that there was talent in Lawrence. And then, you know, once I got the Primo beat, then after that, Rex got the Primo beat. Then, you know, Haverhill is a city that's right next to Lawrence. It's about 5 minutes away. It's touching. And that's also a city I'm from, too, and my man Easy Money's from. So, you know, I was able to help Easy Money get a beat from Premier as well. So my whole clique, I mean, me, Rex, so Easy Money, we were all able to get laced with, like, fire Primo beats. And, you know, Statik had a hand in all that, too, helped that process. So all of us were pretty much born in the same area. And over the years, Primo, you know, took a liking to us and just, you know, understood what Lawtown was all about and, like, you know, the surrounding areas of Lawrence. And really respected Crumb's pen and respected my pen and Rex's pen and Easy's. And so, yeah, man, we've all been blessed, man.
Yeah, man, and it'd be dope if one day there could be like a, you know, like an EP where all you guys just smashing out some Primo beats or something like that. You know what I mean? Even if it's just like a short little 5 or 6 thing, like that would be super dope.
Yeah, man, that's a big bag. We're gonna need a big bag for that.
Yeah.
Let me know.
That's true, man.
As much as Primo's my friend, those beats ain't for free.
Yeah, man, money talks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, like, just to see, you know, the success you've gone on to have since I first kind of came in contact with you, too. And I just went back and watched How It Go Down the other day and noticed it's over 1 million views now, too. So I want to congratulate you on that. I'm not sure when it hit that mark, but, you know, that's big, like, you know, super underground, just, you know what I mean, real authentic hip-hop shit like that, like, those are good milestones to reach, man, so I just want to congratulate you guys on that, too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that shit's been at a mill for a long time. It's been at a mill for maybe 6-7 years now. It hit a mill relatively fast, because back then it wasn't a lot of videos on YouTube. Now everything's on YouTube. Yeah. So we was early on YouTube. So Amazing hit 1 million on YouTube a long time ago as well. And How We Rock had 500,000, but it got deleted off of YouTube. It would have had millions by now.
Oh,
shit. It got deleted, and that was like a heart-wrenching thing, because I spent $20,000 on the whole process, like the video and everything that with it. I spent over $20,000, and to make that video happen. And then somebody had an issue with somebody's YouTube channel, and the video got deleted off of YouTube, and you can't even watch it now. So that's really heartbreaking, man, because it would have had millions of views by now.
Oh man, especially over some petty shit like that too, man.
Yeah, it was. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything to nobody, and it's a big loss. But that kind of opened my eyes. Like, all right, from now on, it's like, make sure everything goes on your channel. Don't put it on anybody else's channel, because you could get more views because their channel's popping. But then if they decide to delete it, now you're screwed. So it kind of taught me to make sure everything was always coming out on either my channel or Statik's channel. Something that I can trust.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so important, especially for underground artists, to retain the ownership to everything they do. You know what I mean? Because you never know what can happen in those kind of situations. That's unfortunate. Because that video was dope too, man.
Yeah, that was the first of its kind too. Like, we had Primo cutting up in the air, and then we had like a digital turntable that was like under his hands, and everybody was freaking out. They had 10,000 comments, you know what I mean? People were like beefing whether or not it was real or not. Turntable was real. It was just so cool, man. Technology was way ahead of time. We spent 5 Gs just on CGI. Like, it was so dope, man. And it's so sad that you can't see it no more. Like, it was star-studded, man. Joel Ortiz was there. Mad rappers was there. It was me, One B, Primo. Just so many dope rappers were there, and like, co-sign the situation. So it was cool, man. But it's a classic. It's an underground classic. The whole album was laced with Primo bangers, and I'm blessed, man.
Definitely, man. I was just curious too, because like you said, it was a star-studded video. You had a lot of cameos in there from Fame, Joel Ortiz, Sky Zoo. I was just curious, like, did you have relationships with a lot of these dudes prior to, or was this kind of like, your first opportunity getting to meet some of these dudes who were kind of giving you these cosigns in the video?
Nah, that was way late, man. Those guys were all personal friends of mine for years before that. I knew all. The only person that was in the video I didn't know was Uncle Murder, and he was there because he's cool with Bun. You know what I mean? So he pulled up with Bun. But I ended up meeting him and getting cool with him as well later, in passing. But the other guys, man, me and Sky had an early relationship. We've been working since 2006. I've been working with Joel Ortiz since 2005 when we were both unknown. Way before either of us got Primo beats and stuff. He was still doing battles and like mixtapes, and so wasn't I. So yeah, man, I've been cool with all those guys. Graph, like all the whole underground scene, man. I've been cool with those guys for a long time, man. They're like hip hop brothers of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you've worked with, like, just the list of people you've worked with is insane, man. Like, and even for producers, I was curious, too, because, like, your first album alone, well, the Hood Politics, like, I don't know if you technically consider that your first or your second, but, like, you had Large Pro, Easy Mo B, Knots, Alchemist, Preem, Buckwild, Pete Rock, Havoc. Like, that's, like, a catalog, like an artist catalog worth of producers that they would like to just, you know what I mean, in their career be able to work with. And you worked with all these guys on one fucking album, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, man. And I did that shit before the industry crashed too. Like,
yeah,
that was back when it was mad hard to get beats. Like, now everybody's just buddy and doing whole albums with each other and doing freebies. Like, that was in the era where it wasn't no freebies. Like, the industry was still popping. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a lot harder to do that back then. And yeah, it's cool, man. it's great to look back on it because I knew what I was doing when I did it. I had, you know, if you notice, Statik's not even on it because he wasn't at that level of a producer yet.
Yeah.
You know, when I did it, I was like, yo, everybody on here gotta be like legendary producer, like platinum plush. Like that was my plan, and it worked. You know, and you know, Statik went on to become a great producer and get his share of success as well. But that's why he wasn't even on it yet because he wasn't even ready. He wasn't even on that level yet. You know?
Yeah.
So it was great, man. It was a great time in hip hop and a great time for me.
Yeah, and you made a good point too with what you said. Like that is before the industry crash, and like back then, like, you know, like producers now that, you know, might have a name that you're paying $5 grand, $10 grand a beat for or whatever. Like back in those times, you know, it might have been like 30, 40 grand a beat. You know, like they were still used to getting that label budget money. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, definitely, man. I do because I had to deal with a lot of these producers, managers, and lawyers, and it was, you know, it wasn't easy putting together a project like that. But for the most part, man, everybody was cool. You know, everybody got paid. Everybody showed up and gave me heat, man. So yeah, it's history.
It's amazing, man. And one thing I was curious about. There's two questions kind of spiral off it, but one's just kind of a quick one, but. Did you and Easy Mo B ever do anything else together? Because he just did the intro on the album, right? Like, I would love to hear you rapping on some of those classic fucking Mo, you know, like his beats, the way those drums hit were just different. Did you guys ever do anything else?
Nah, man, just the intro, and I didn't even rap on it.
Yeah.
You know, I was so inspired by, like, Pete Rock and these other dudes who just had like the most fire beat of all time on the album and didn't even rap on it, didn't even use it. They just kind of wasted it, like, you know what I'm saying? And it just gave me that feeling, like, yeah, I'm here, man. Like, I'm my introduction to the game. So
yeah.
I was just kind of talking on it, like, yeah, it's time. You know, I just kind of did that. I ain't even rap on it. And that was it, man. He came to my crib. He pulled up with a bag full of CDs. You know what I'm saying? I was living in the Bronx. He opened up the bag, just kept pulling out beat CDs and playing beat after beat. And I chose that beat, and that ended up being the intro.
Oh man, I would love to hear you and him work together again, man. Because he's one of the producers, you know, he's one of the greatest that I think a lot of times gets left out of the conversation when he shouldn't. Because he's, you know, his catalog is phenomenal.
Yeah, he got bangers, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. And the other question I wanted to ask, kind of in relation to producers too, though, it's like, you know, I can't think of many legendary producers you really haven't worked with at one point or another. Like maybe Dr. Dre is like one of the only ones I could think of. Like, are there any producers, you know, that you looked up to, coming up to, that you haven't had the chance to work with yet that you would like to?
Yeah, definitely. RZA. Dr.
Yeah.
Dre. Yeah, RZA, Dre, Kanye, like, you know, be in the lab with Kanye. Old Kanye, I'm not really sure what he's doing these days, but, you know, the old Kanye.
Yeah.
Who else? Pharrell. That's about it, man. I think I worked with everybody else, you know, pretty much. I've been really blessed to have worked with almost every producer that I looked up to and am a fan of.
Yeah, man, because that's like, to have even just the first album with all those producers on it, it's like, holy shit, where do you even go from there? You know what I mean? But
yeah, and I kept it going. Like when I did the sequel, you know, More Politics, I had Q-Tip, I had Justice League, I had Just Blaze,
yeah.
I had High Tech. You know what I mean? It was like I kept it going. You know what I mean? So even the other guys that are a little slept on, but still got bangers and hits, like Don Cannon,
yeah,
and you know other people like that. It was like. They're all over my projects, you know what I mean?
And on top of that, your right-hand man is Statik, too, who's a beast in his own right, too. It's like, you got beats.
Exactly, man. You know, so me and Statik, we got such a dope chemistry and such a dope working relationship that, you know, we can do a whole album in 11 hours. Just what we do. We could do another one today if we wanted to, you know? It's just all about being, it's all about being in that space.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And actually, to get back to the quarantine, too, like, you know, it's not the first full album you and Statik had done together, but, like, I'm just curious, how did you and Statik originally, like, link up and start working on music?
So, Statik and I met when we were teenagers. It was, you know, we were around 17, something like that, and he used to throw these parties. They were kind of like, you know, where people would show up and break dance and DJ and battle rap, and stuff like that. So I had, went to a couple of his parties, and, we got cool, and I told him I had turntables and beat machines, and he did too. So he started coming by the house, and hanging out, and, we were just more friends at that point, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't, we weren't, like, collaborating on music yet. I was doing music lightly, he was doing music lightly, but we were more just, like, into the live aspect of it,
Yeah.
And, so after that, he threw a concert, his first concert, and, I attended that, and we just been homies ever since, man, since we were teenagers rocking house parties together.
Crazy, man, because what you guys have done, it's inspirational. Like, I was telling Rex, because he was kind of part of that circle with you guys at the time, but, like, when you guys, when the whole show-off camp kind of was first, putting out, like, the Watch How It Go Down, and then Rex's gray hairs and that, like, that era, like, you guys were a breath of fresh air. In that early stages of the internet, I was starting to lose faith in a lot of hip-hop just with the way that the industry was putting it, and you guys kind of gave that breath of fresh air that it needed at the exact perfect time that it needed it, like, fresh out of the ringtone era, you guys really put a stamp on hip-hop, like, to be like, yo, we're here and we're doing, the shit that we love, and I really appreciate you guys for that, and, for continuing to carry that flag all these years afterwards as well, too, man,
Oh, yeah, man. Show our love, bro. That's what we do it for, man. It's for people to enjoy the music.
Yeah, man. And, so on the new album, too, Quarantine, on the joint All Facts, you mentioned earlier in the interview as well, too, but the fact that, you wrote 39 albums and produced 2, it's like that type of a workload is just absolutely insane. I'm just curious, like, what is it that keeps you motivated after all these years to still just be as sharp as you can on top of your game and this consistently putting out music?
Yeah, man, I love it. It's like a sport, you know what I mean? It's like, if you put Michael Jordan on the court right now, bro, he's still gonna ball, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just something that he loves. So, there's times where I don't like the industry, and there's times where there's things about the game that I don't like, and I kind of fall back a little bit. But for the most part, man, I keep my foot on the gas. I stay motivated. There's artists out there like Gucci Mane that has 100 mixtapes. There's artists like E40 that got like 60 albums, So I'm trying to follow in those guys' footsteps, artists like Michael Jackson and Prince. It's just people out there that have 100 hit singles, and 100 projects and stuff like that. So, me, I got about 40 to 50 joints, you know what I'm saying? I got about 39 that I wrote the whole thing and rapped, and I produced 2. Then I also executive produced an A&R, certain projects, like my man Short Fuse project, this kid Slim One's project. Did A&R work on Statik's album with Bun B. I helped with the sequencing, and Statik album with Currency. I named the album. I wrote one of the songs. It's just doing stuff like that, you know what I mean? I love doing features on people's projects. I love lending my expertise to people's projects and just staying busy, man. So I've really been a part of probably more like 100 projects if you count all the Easy Money projects, all the Statik Selektah projects, all the different projects that I had a hand in and help people, whether it was writing hooks or helping people with ideas, or, grabbing different artists and putting them on beats and stuff. It's just kind of like what I do, you know what I mean? So, I just love doing it, man, I've been rapping since I was a little kid, since I was 9. I'm 37 now, that's pushing 30 years of rap. I've just been rapping my whole life, and now I make beats, and now I write R&B, and I produce R&B. I do marketing, I do all kinds of stuff pertaining to hip-hop, man, and I just love the game, and I still got a lot in me, you know what I'm saying? I still probably got another 20, 30 projects in me, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and artists like you are rare to find. Someone who takes pride in their pen game being sharp that matches the work drive you have. And I'm just curious, if you were to sign an artist, put them under you, put your time and resources behind them, what are you looking for first and foremost? Are you looking for an artist that's got the work ethic, but maybe the bars aren't all the way there, or someone who's crazy with the bars but needs to get their work ethic on top?
I'm not trying to sign any rappers Right now, I haven't found the right person that I want to put that energy into. I recently signed a producer. His name is Jam.
Yeah.
I recently signed Jam because I liked his work ethic. Work ethic to me is really number one. And then he's also very talented at samples, like sample replays, and also just creating beats from scratch. So I kind of felt like that was something that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
So, if I want to sign somebody, I don't want to sign somebody who's exactly like me. If it was me, I would rather more like sign somebody that brings something to the table. So I signed the artist Jam. He's on social media as Jam Mizzle. You'll see him on my page, here and there. But yeah, man, I mean, if I was gonna work with anybody, it would definitely have to be the whole package, and they would definitely have to be willing to invest money into themselves, invest time into themselves, be willing to be teachable, and you bring something to the table, and definitely be creative. You know what I'm saying? Be different and have a good work ethic.
Definitely, man. And actually, just something you said too had me curious about something else, because you mentioned earlier, putting like 20 grand behind that "This Is How We Rock" video, and another thing you just said, in like finding a younger artist, something would have to be someone willing to invest in themselves. And I think a lot of artists don't understand what investing in themselves means. Like they'll throw a couple $100 into a song or a single or something, and they'll think they invested in themselves, but it's like, perfect example is you with the How We Rock video. Like, they don't realize it takes 20 grand, to put together a music video and have it done right, in some instances and stuff like that. Like, a lot of artists really aren't ready to really pool all their money and resources behind something and push it. I was just kind of curious, like, what has been, like, the biggest loss you've had to take in your career? Like, something you put money behind and it just did not work out the way you wanted it to?
Probably the biggest L was that video.
Yeah.
That I don't remember ever putting up so much money and doing something so important and having it fail, and the way that did. And it's not that it failed. It's just that what ended up happening like screwed it over. You know what I mean? But that was probably the biggest L. Another thing was kind of just like wasting my time with artists. I have a big heart and I like to help people. So, there were certain artists that I gave like mad time to and mad verses and, mad connections and different things like that. There were certain artists that I really hooked up. And, at the end, those people kind of like turned their back on me or like, screwed me over. So that's kind of like also why like I stopped working with artists because, sometimes you do certain things for artists, and it's like you go out of your way to really like help out an artist and put them like on the radio with people like DJ Premier, or you get them beats by Statik, or whatever the case is. Sometimes like you go all out for somebody, and then at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? They complain about it or something like that. They turn their back on you and be disloyal. So I would say if I wasted any time, the biggest waste of money was my waste of time, my waste of resources, believing in certain artists and trying to help people out. And that's why I've been a lot more, sparingly with the people that I help out now. I really, really like make sure that I want to help a person out now before I just do it. Like, I got a big heart. I'm always trying to help people out, and then sometimes it's just not reciprocated.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. And that's the other thing too. Just some people just aren't appreciative. They think that they deserve the help that you give them. When in reality, it's like each connection that you've made that you share with somebody else is a huge. Like a lot of cats don't even realize because they haven't put enough footwork in how crucial just one connection is. Just linking someone to go on Preem's radio show, or just linking someone with Statik for a beat. You know what I mean? Like how crucial that one connection is. How hard it would be for them to do it themselves. Some people just aren't appreciative of. It's because they don't even understand. You know what I mean? What you're doing for them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I put artists on all my shows. I let people rap at festivals in front of 50,000 people, And, you know, some of those people went on to say, oh, Term don't want to help me, or Term, you know, didn't do this or that for me, instead of looking at what I did do for them.
Yeah.
And that's a very frustrating thing, you know what I'm saying, for sure. But it's all good, you know. I stay focused on the people that treat me right and the people that actually want to work with me. And I just kind of focus on myself now, you know what I mean? Even though it's cool to collaborate, but I've been in the studio every single day this whole entire week, even with this COVID stuff. I've been in there every day, making beats, you know, finding samples. You know, one of my best friends, Artisan, he's been loyal to me for 20 years. I've been working with him and some other guys, and that's all you can really do, man. But, you know, whatever losses you take in this game, you got to brush off your shoulders and just keep it moving.
Yeah. No, definitely, man. And there's a lot of room for taking losses, too. That's why I was kind of curious to ask you that question. Because, you know, a lot of artists are scared to invest in themselves, but what they don't realize is nothing is a guarantee either. This whole game is a gamble. It's a crapshoot. You know, you invest in yourself doesn't necessarily mean something's going to pop off or everything's going to go right. You know what I mean? A lot of times people...
Absolutely, yep.
You know, a lot of times people pay for features or videos, never get that verse, or that video never gets created, or it isn't what they expected. You know, there's lots of room for error, even when you invest lots of money behind what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a fact, bro. And so many times people invest money on things like features and stuff like that, and then the song goes nowhere. You know what I mean? So
yep.
You know, even it happened with me where I spent, you know, close to $10,000 on a song and nobody really cared about the song, and then I go and do a freestyle called Tight Pants for Girls in my kitchen, you know, just on my home studio mic, and it blows up, you know. So it's kind of like you really never know what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah, it's true, man, and that's why, like, you know, that's another reason why I commend artists like yourself, man, because you've been in the trenches, you've been in there, and you've exactly that exact thing you just said, the trial and error, you know, investing huge money behind songs and stuff, the fans not receiving it, and then, you know, going and doing something simple and people losing their minds over it, and, you know, it gets discouraging to artists sometimes and stuff, but, you know, I really respect cats like yourself who push through all the bullshit, don't let it, you know, and just stay working, stay hustling, and just keep consistently dropping that good music, man, you know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro.
No doubt, man. You know, one thing I was curious, too, about as well, because I know you and Sean Price, you know, I don't know how close you guys were, but I know that you were close enough. You know, I seen where he interviewed you online for the NE Hip Hop, which is a pretty funny video. You know, one thing he mentioned in there, though, or one of you guys mentioned, but was that you guys were working on an EP together. I was just curious if that, you know, was something that you guys had the material for that might still come out one day or something, or if, you know, if it was too incomplete to put out.
I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, so what happened with that was, you know, that was just the idea that he had came down to Lawrence, you know, to do a show in Boston. I put him up in a hotel in Lawrence because he was shooting a video with me the next day.
Yep.
In Lawrence. So while we were there, we ended up recording a new song, and he came to Boston another time, recorded a different song. You know, then we did Population Control for Statik's album. We did Get Off the Ground for the Snow Goons. We did a whole bunch of collabos and just random songs together. So it kind of came to a point where we were just kind of like, you know, hey, this would be a good idea. We both respect each other as artists and as MCs. If we do, you know, a collabo album. So it was P's idea. I said, yeah, I was with it, and we were just kind of like picking beats and stuff like that. But then we never actually, you know, got to record it because obviously nobody can foresee that he was gonna pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have one song that hasn't came out yet, and that's gonna be coming out soon. It's called Bustelo. So that should be coming out at some point this year.
Dope, man. Another thing I was just curious about as well too. You know, because that video you guys shot, like, it's super funny just the way you guys were interacting and stuff. I was just curious, you know, I like to ask every artist who had a relationship with P, what one of their funniest memories of Sean is, because Sean was just such a hilarious dude. I had the chance to meet him once, and I was just laughing my ass off the whole time we were smoking up. You know what I mean? Like, and I just, everybody talks about negative things a lot in hip hop and stuff, and I like to, I really like to shine the light on the funny moments and the happy moments and stuff. So I was just curious if you had any like real funny, Sean Price memories that just stick out when you think about it.
Yeah, one time Sean came to my house, and anybody that knows me knows I got a big sneaker collection. So this is back in Lawrence. I was living in Lawrence. So he comes to my crib, and I got a whole bunch of people at the house. There's like 20, 30 of us. We're all chilling. And he goes into my bedroom and starts opening up every single shoebox. He's looking at every single box, and I'm just laughing. I'm looking with him. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, these are cool. Oh, these are all right. Nah, I wouldn't wear these. This, that, and the third. So and then he opens this one Adidas box that had like these crazy kicks called Jeremy Scott's.
Yeah.
And they had like a text there on them. And he was like, I wouldn't be able to pull these off. And it was just funny, man. He was just such a comedian, man. Really good dude.
That's so funny, man. Just come start rummaging through your sneaker boxes.
He literally looked through every box.
That's fucking hilarious, man.
Like 100 boxes. Like, it was crazy.
That's fucking hilarious, man. So you mentioned as well, too, that throughout the quarantine, you've been in the studio every day. So I was just kind of curious as well. Can we expect, another 11-hour made and put out album in these times, or?
Nah, I'm just trying to promote the quarantine right now.
Yeah. Okay.
We got the vinyl sold out the first week, the green vinyl. So we hit them with the CDs. The CDs are available now on my website, termanologymusic.com. I also got my own Bandcamp, Termanology, so you can get the autographed CDs there. We got the vinyl, the black vinyl, because the green sold out. So yeah, we're just pushing the video, the pandemic video. We're pushing the streams. We're pushing the merch, and we're pushing this. I mean, I think it's only like 8 days old.
Yeah.
So 10 days old or something. So I know in this era, it's like people are ready for something new by like the next week. But yeah, we're gonna push the quarantine for a little bit.
That's dope, man. I really like how you guys did that. But not only that you did it, you recorded, you put it out, but the fact that you guys are treating it properly too. You're not just putting it out like, well, this is cool, we did it. Like, you're actually doing the proper rollout behind it and promoting it and stuff. Like, that's really dope, man. I like that. And I like the first video. Can we expect any other music videos off this project?
Yeah, definitely. Fame called me, he wants to shoot one. And Graf called me, he wants to shoot one. So, yeah, maybe we might do the CJ Fly and Coda one. Everybody's pretty much down to do the videos. Right now everybody's in the quarantine, so once that's all over with, I think we should be able to get back to it.
That's dope, man. Yeah, like I like. Did you and Graf work together before this joint? At all?
Oh, sorry, what?
Before This Too Shall Pass, did you and Graf have any joints together prior to that?
Yeah, he's on my mixtape called Hood Politics Part 7.
Okay.
He's on the Harry Fraud joint. Yeah. He's on the Harry Fraud joint. It's called Love of Money. Yeah. And then he's also on my album Vintage Horns that I dropped in December.
Okay. Yeah, Graf's a beast, man. It's like, and because you've actually, just being such a fierce MC yourself, but you always, every project you drop, you've got other, just fucking animal MCs on there, dudes like Graf and shit, and a lot of dudes get you on their joints too, and a lot of fierce MCs. I'm just curious, who is the hardest rapper to get in the studio with to do a joint with, where you're like, fuck, like I gotta do a joint with this guy, like I gotta be on my game.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's certain MCs that when you get on a song with them, you know you gotta go hard or they're gonna body you.
Yeah.
You have to. They're amazing rappers, you know what I mean? And they body everybody, so nobody's exempt from that. Somebody that's really hard to get is Little Fame, man, from MOP. He's just so amazing, like him being on songs with MZ and Big Pun and Coogee Rap and 50 Cent and all these big artists, and him, if not having the better verse, at least hanging with them. That kind of inspires me. So doing songs with Fame Doing songs with Benny and Westside Gun and Conway. You know, they smoking hot right now. So doing songs with them, it's like they really coming with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're doing a song with those guys, your pen better be ready. Every time I did a song with Sean P, you know, his personality was so fierce. It was so bigger than life that you really had to come with it. Cassidy's pen work is crazy.
Yeah.
So the records with Cass was crazy. The record with Joey Badass was nuts. You know, King Crooked definitely is hard.
Yeah.
And he bodies everybody. So, yeah, man, those are some dudes that I really respect in the pen game. And they go crazy, man. So, you know, when doing songs with them, you really got to go hard.
Yeah, and actually, you know, we will wrap this up in a few minutes, but you just mentioned them, and that actually had me wondering too, because you've been working with the Griselda guys for a few years now, but they're really just kind of starting to get their flowers and their you know, large scale notoriety now. But I was kind of curious too, how did that kind of relationship first form with you and the Buffalo dudes?
Yeah, they would just come by Statik's lab a lot, you know, so they would come by and, you know, Statik would be working with them, and I'll play them some joints, and, you know, Khan ended up getting on something. Then, you know, me and Benny got in the lab, did something. We did, me, Conway, Westside did number 8 for Statik. We flew to Buffalo, shot the video for that. So,
that's a dope
yeah,
joint.
man, we've been big supporters and big, you know, fans of Griselda from the beginning, man. So we're very happy to see them shining, and, you know, they're still growing, man. You know, the sky's the limit for those guys. So I'm wishing them, you know, the best and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, most definitely, man. They're killing the shit right now. But yeah, you're like, you guys were putting joints out with them. Like right when I first heard of them, you guys were putting joints out with them. So I was kind of curious how you guys went back in that and shit too, man. And one more thing I did want to ask about though too, you know, being that we're based in Toronto and Canadian, but you're actually partly French Canadian descent.
Yep.
So do you
absolutely.
Do you you know, growing up and shit, did you ever spend time in Canada due to that?
No, I didn't really. To keep it real, man. You know, I never really got to know that side of my family. Like, my mom's French Canadian, but we didn't really like grow up with our relatives. Like, I don't know French.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And I never even went to Canada until I was old enough to rap and did a show there. So it's kind of like, I'm half Puerto Rican and half Canadian, but I know more about like my Latin side. You know, I went to Puerto Rico when I was a kid. I went when I was older, and I grew up in like a very like Latin community where people speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of like lean towards that as far as culture wise. But yeah, I just definitely am half French Canadian for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I was just curious if you ever, you know, I kind of assumed you probably didn't, because as far as I'm aware, most people, you know, in the States don't really come up to Canada for much of anything. The Canadian family will go down to the States.
It's not like, you know, like a hate thing. It's more like just no knowledge of it, and
yeah,
it's not like we didn't go there. You know, we were poor, bro. We stayed in Lawrence our whole life. You know.
Yeah.
And people in Lawrence when I was a kid, they didn't speak French. They spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it summed up. But my mom knows, you know, some of it, and not necessarily French, but she knows a little bit about the history and like where people came from and stuff like that. So her and my aunt kind of put me onto some stuff, and it's very interesting. One day I would like to do Ancestry.com and like try to like really figure out all my roots.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You know, I just want to thank you so much for your time, man. The show's only an hour long, and I do want to play a few joints off the Quarantine 2 before the show ends. So, you know, I really appreciate your time, though, Term. Before we wrap it up, you know, just let the people know everywhere online they can get in contact with you, all that good stuff.
No doubt, man. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's at Termanology ST. And if you want to purchase the merchandise, you can go to termanologymusic.com, or you can go to Bandcamp/Termanology ST. Yo, listen to me every Thursday on Sirius Satellite XM, Shade 45, on Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. I'll be hosting with DJ Statik Selektah. And hit me up on the gram, hit me up on the Twitter, man. Show love.
Word up, man. Thanks, Term, man. I appreciate your time very much, man. Love the new album. And you know, I can't wait to see what else you guys got coming out, you know, for the following months, especially with all this time in quarantine. I can only imagine you're knocking out tons and tons of fire right now.
You know it.
Word
all right,
up.
man. Thanks for the call, bro. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Yo, for sure, man. Cheers. Stay safe.
Peace, bro. All right, later.